the glittering world of professional basketball, fame and fortune often come hand in hand. But for Bison Dele, born Brian Carson Williams, the journey led to far more than just courtside glory. It ended in a tragic mystery, lost in the vastness of the Pacific Ocean. Born on April 6, 1969 in Fresno, California, Brian grew up in a world familiar with performance. His father, Eugene Williams, was a member of the legendary musical group, The Platters. But while music ran in the family, Brian was different. He was a towering presence even as a teen, athletic, intelligent, and always searching for something deeper than what the surface had to offer. His journey took him to the University of Maryland and later to the University of Arizona, where he honed his skills as a basketball player. By 1991, he was drafted into the NBA by the Orlando Magic. The path was set. Over the years, Brian played for several teams, including the Denver Nuggets, Los Angeles Clippers, and most memorably, the Chicago Bulls, with whom he won an NBA championship in 1997. He concluded his career with the Detroit Pistons, but despite a promising future and millions in earnings, nearly $36 million, Brian shocked the world when he retired from basketball in 1999 at the age of 30. No one could quite understand why. He was still in his prime, still at the top of his game. But for Brian, now Bison Dele, a name he adopted to honor his Cherokee and African heritage, life had a different meaning. Bison was a man of paradoxes, fierce and competitive on the court, yet soulful and inquisitive off it. He played the saxophone, read voraciously, and traveled the world seeking meaning beyond fame. He flew planes, trekked across distant countries, and most recently, had taken to the sea. Alongside his girlfriend Serena Karlan, a free-spirited woman with a kind soul and adventurous heart, and a professional skipper named Bertrand Saldo, Bison set out to explore the South Pacific aboard his catamaran, the Hakuna Matata. But before that fateful voyage, there was one more person to join them. Bison's older brother, Miles DeBoard, born Kevin Williams. The relationship between Bison and Miles was tumultuous. As kids, they had grown up under the same roof, but their paths diverged in adulthood. Where Bison found discipline and success, Miles struggled with identity and stability. Often overshadowed by his younger brother's accomplishments, Miles lived in and out of trouble. Still, Bison believed in family. He reached out to Miles, hoping to heal old wounds with an invitation to join the voyage. That one decision would change everything. The journey began in early July 2002. They left the island of Tahiti on the 55.
What followed next was a labyrinthine mystery, stretching across continents and into the dark recesses of the human psyche. On July 20th, the Hakuna Matata returned to port, but with only one person aboard, Miles DeBoard. The vessel's nameplate had been removed, bullet holes were discovered, and the boat's interior had been freshly cleaned and repaired in a way that seemed too meticulous, too forced. Authorized quickly took note. The FBI began an investigation. The French police, having jurisdiction over the Tahitian region, joined in. Where were the other 3 passengers? Miles gave inconsistent stories. First, he said they had disembarked on another island. Then, he hinted at an accident, but nothing added up. By September, Miles was back in the United States. He forged Bison's signature to buy $152,000 in gold coins in Phoenix, Arizona. This led the FBI straight to him. When confronted, he fled to Mexico, then back to California, where police caught up to him in a Tijuana hotel. Facing intense pressure and knowing the truth was closing in, Miles attempted suicide via an insulin overdose. He slipped into a coma and died on September 27, 2002. With him died the only first-hand account of what happened aboard that boat. In a final confession to his mother, Miles admitted to the killings. He said Bison and Serena got into a violent argument. When Miles intervened, he claimed Serena was accidentally killed. In the chaos, Bison attacked him, and in self-defense, Miles said he killed his brother. Bertrand, the skipper, was a witness, so, according to Miles, he had to die too. The bodies, he confessed, were weighted and thrown overboard, left to vanish in the crushing depth of the Pacific. The confession, though detailed, raised more questions than it answered. There were reports of freshly purchased weights aboard the catamaran. Gunshot holes pointed to execution-style deaths, not the heat of passion. And Miles' own instability made his story suspect. But with no bodies, no other witnesses, and no concrete forensic evidence, the case stalled in ambiguity.
News outlets tried to piece the puzzle together. Friends and former teammates mourned Bison, remembering him not just as a basketball player, but as a seeker, someone always looking beyond the game. Serena's family was left in heartbreak, their daughter's light extinguished in the prime of her life. Bertrand's loved ones waited in vain for answers. Bison Dele's disappearance wasn't just a tragic end to a gifted life, it became a modern myth, a cautionary tale of fame, family, and the perilous chase for meaning. Some believed Miles' version, others speculated deeper motives, jealousy, unresolved trauma, or even a calculated plan to assume Bison's identity and wealth. Over 2 decades later, the catamaran is gone, its haunting voyage etched only in whispers. The Pacific holds its secrets well. No bodies were ever recovered, no final closure was offered. Just questions, circling like sharks. And still, somewhere beyond the waves and time, the image of Bison Dele lingers, not in a jersey, not in the roar of arenas, but in the endless blue of open water, in the chords of a saxophone echoing into the night, and in a brother's final act that left the world guessing. The story of Bison Dele is not one of victory or loss, it's one of mystery, a chilling reminder that some of life's most tragic answers never surface.